Should be there.
Yes, I think so too. What's the fault indicator showing now?
Now, registering.
Excellent, we've done it. Well, thank you for helping me out with that, Yasko. That's certainly going to help. Oh, hello there.
Don't tell me I'm not supposed to be here, right? Well, I am here. And I'm going to find out what you've got on that screen.
Well, nothing. We haven't pressed the button yet.
What are you saying?
Well, I'm saying... How about you helping us out with that today, Mr. Sanderson?
Yeah, well, these things take time to work out.
No time at all. All it needs is for someone to press their finger against the button here.
As in my case.
That's it. Yes, there we go. All nice and simple.
Some people here may buy that, but I don't. I'm not wrong.
Of course you're not wrong, Mr. Sanderson. Now, I wonder what you'll get us today.
I have information. I have the prediction.
Excellent. So, how about passing it over? That's it. There's a good bearded lunatic. And let's take a look. Oh, okay. Well, it's Captain Scarlet today. But a different Captain Scarlet to the one you're probably thinking of.
How different?
Because he's new Captain Scarlet.
No!
Yes. Here's the homecoming.
The astral prediction was right!
So, welcome back to New Captain Scarlet on the Randomiser. It's been a while since we were last here. I think Virus was the last episode of the show we looked at. This is actually the earliest in any order of the series that we've landed in so far. We've done a lot from the second half of the series, but not much from the first. And here we are in the cloud-based gym. Very occasionally... Cloud base! Oh no, it's sky base! Oh, sack me. Anyway, Colonel White and Captain Scarlet fencing in the gym. And I like this, because I get the feeling this is the sort of thing the original series White and Scarlet would have done off-screen. I think they would have socialised, and but of course we could never see that. We could never see that fencing match where...
Any day. A gun is a weapon without artistry, Captain Scarlet.
Where the original Colonel White has a go at Scarlet for parrying when he should have riposted because he was too impetuous. Yeah, can you tell I actually used to fence. A very long time ago I used to fence at school. I got my grade 1 badge, and then I got an ingrown toenail, which the effects lasted for a very long time, and I actually qualified for my grade 2 level fencing badge, despite never actually attending any of the lessons for it. So there you go. If you ever come at me with a fencing foil in a dark alley, I might just be able to take you on. Anyway, I've waffled all over. Angel launching, but again, this is an early episode of the show, so there's not too much to say about this Angel launch. Most notably, the fact that at this point in the series, all of the Angels
Is it from Mars?
are basically clones of Destiny, but bald. Except one of them looks a bit Japanese for Symphony.
You know where it's headed?
The Arctic Circle.
They've got some kind
Your
of
cold weather gear together, Captain Scarlet.
I'm on my way, Colonel.
thing coming in from space. Naturally, Captain Scarlet is the only one who's going to be sent out to deal with it. Well, him and Blue, because there's no one else on Skybase. No one at all. That's it. There's some sort of space probe coming down.
Space capsule, 12 o'clock.
Oh.
I see it.
Okay, that was an attempt at a prototype Harmony. Obviously the same voice, but the character design is totally different to what she would later become. Not an unattractive design there for Harmony, actually. I think certainly she gets another redesign in Mercury Falling, which doesn't quite work as well before she gets her permanent redesign. That wasn't too bad. Anyway, capsule is now down. Destiny has dropped a marker. Again, this show wastes no time in establishing everything.
Scarlet's ETA is 85 minutes, just after nightfall.
They've made good time.
Let's see, they're there already. I love the fact that this show moves at such a breakneck pace, and it's really got to, because these episodes are only, what, 21 minutes long? That's it, Albatross is dropping off a Rhino, heading out into the cold. Again, this is another very well designed landscape. I suppose a snowy landscape is
Due west.
is quite easy to pull off at this point in the series, easier than say a populated town or city, because although there's a lot of snow and such going on, you don't really have to do too much more than the landscape and the elements. And yeah, they found it, pulling up right alongside it, and the snow does look very convincing. Endeavour 2.
The Jupiter mission.
It disappeared 3 months after launch.
And the commander was Lieutenant Green's father.
And there's Lieutenant Green herself. Come to sit with Colonel White to monitor the operation.
Is it for you or a nightmare?
It was a long-haul mission. The escape capsule had cryotubes. Is there any chance...
It's been 15 years, Serena. But Scarlet's about to open the capsule.
So you may want to find a sick bucket.
I understand.
I've always looked up to my father's memory. He carried out his duty. I'd like to do mine.
Good, because your panel is flashing the words engineering emergency yet again. We should probably have that engineering emergency looked at. Yeah, I know it's a holdover from the first episode, and no one's supposed to notice that, but I notice it. It's always flashing when Green, particularly when she's nowhere near a console. Engineering emergency is always flashing. I love it. Oh, that's nasty, though. Even Scarlet's scared.
Grove.
Dead body of a man named Grove, who looked very scared as he died.
2 men dead. This one's McLean.
2 Anderson references, Grove TV and McLean of the Clan McLean from Joe 90.
Is everything all right?
Spelt differently, but...
I just wanted to make sure.
Of what, Captain?
There's a 3rd tube, Colonel.
Oh.
It's Commander Lewis, and he's alive.
And we're getting here one of the real strengths of this episode, and indeed the series, is Jules de Jong's performance as Lieutenant Green. Not quite as well supported by the visuals as it might be, but...
Months before my birthday.
It doesn't really matter, because the voice is selling so much of what... of the emotional commitment that the story really requires.
August 12th. The day they lost the Endeavor. I never opened it. Never celebrated another birthday all these years.
And Blue is there with her, trying to comfort her.
Is an appropriate stage of recovery.
But his a very awkward CGI hand on her shoulder was a bit
A
creepy.
few hours. Otherwise, he seems fine.
You look worried, Colonel.
That escape capsule was in space a long time. What if the Mysterons found it first?
You mean Commander Lewis could be a replicant?
A blood test will answer that. The Mysterons are clever, but they can't hide their DNA.
Also, that engineering emergency sign is still flashing on Green's console. Anyway, Gold is going to take a blood sample from Commander Lewis. He's unconscious in sickbay. Oh, no, wait, he's awake. And this kind of spoils... And it's not really a surprise that he's actually under the control of the Mysterons, but the fact that we have this scene so early on, revealing that he is under the control of the Mysterons, and he takes over... He temporarily, I don't know, takes over Gold's mind so that Gold extracts a sample of his own blood and tests that. That could have been played as a flashback later on.
Father's awake, Serena.
And the story really wouldn't have changed. But here we go, never mind. Commander Lewis is wide awake in sickbay, reading a magazine.
Everything is all right, isn't it, Colonel?
The doctor has given your father a clean bill of health.
Oh yes, a perfectly healthy human being.
Also strange that there was no real exploration with this show regarding how Mysteron agents are detected. It's just the DNA is different. At some point that was established really early on.
So, how are you feeling?
Good.
It's just there was none of that sort of gradual discovery that we associate with the original series. Here it's just they're aliens, DNA doesn't match.
15 years cryo.
Easy way to tell them apart.
Food. It would kill you.
I guess.
And another wonderfully acted scene here that doesn't quite get supported by the animation.
For a corn dog. Always loved them, didn't you?
And some corny dialogue, but also here an unfortunate animation goof.
I just never forgot. Dad?
Lewis was in bed reading his magazine. Now his daughter's gone in there. Oh, big hug, big family reunion, and then...
I can't remember ever being more delighted to be so very wrong.
We cut to outside in the observation room, and Green is nowhere to be seen in sickbay, and Lewis is back to reading his magazine. It's like...
Right, Doc?
You know, family reunion and all, that's great, but just want to finish reading this article. He's still there. Green is nowhere to be seen now. And Scarlet is now practicing against a holographic fencing partner, which is quite something.
Nothing like this when I left home.
Commander Lewis, I guess there's a lot you're gonna have to get used to. Captain Scarlet.
Serena told me about you. You're Tom Metcalf's son.
Did you know my father?
I met him once. The first man on Mars.
Didn't like him.
Astronaut's hero. But then I guess you're quite a hero yourself, Captain Scarlet. On guard!
You fence?
Can't think of a better way to warm up after 15 years in the freezer.
And again, this is another scene that just goes too far in establishing that Lewis is still under the control of the Mysterons, how psychotically he gets into this fencing match with Scarlet. Taking the tip off the end of the foil. Chucking weights at him. At this point, this is genuine. Call for security, and B, send him back to sickbay for another check. Because this is an attempt on Scarlet's life, absolutely blatantly. And nobody really thinks anything of it. Punch in the face, yeah. This is all healthy.
Dad, hey!
And there's that music sting that I'm sure I've heard in other places.
I got carried away.
There's a plane.
I don't know if maybe Crispin Morel sold that cue to like other music libraries as such, but I'm sure I've heard that cue elsewhere, not just in this series. Anyway, Green is now leaving with her father on
The test is conclusive.
some kind of mission.
Mysteron DNA in Commander Lewis's body.
What about a mistake?
No. What on earth is all this, Captain?
When you took his blood sample, were you alone?
Yes, but... Oh,
Gold's having problems with his wrist. Oh, because it's bleeding through a hole in the sleeve.
I don't know.
Lewis is a Mysteron replicant.
What?
Also, there's still an engineering emergency.
Did the DNA test on his own blood.
Serena's with him, headed for New Mexico.
She's in big trouble. Maybe we all are.
There's not much going on in New Mexico. Also, I like in that fencing scene as well the mention of Scarlet's father, first man on Mars, as established in Rat Trap. Only mentioned a couple of times in this show, not quite sure what happened to him. Anyway.
Commander Lewis, you're to come with us, sir.
Okay.
Commander Lewis and Lieutenant Green are now at the top secret important Army space base in New Mexico that I waffled over what it actually was. Propulsion Research Unit. Restricted installation. Thank you, sign.
So, where are we going, Major?
My orders are to take you to your quarters and wait there, sir.
But my father's supposed to be going straight to the director.
Those are my orders, Lieutenant.
I think this is Jeremy Hitchens' first guest character on the show.
The Jeep, or she's first?
Dad?
Do it, Major.
Oh no, the obvious Mysteron is a Mysteron. And again, I think that's, as much as I was praising the pacing of this show earlier,
Get out. Both of you.
very occasionally works against it, especially at moments like this. I want to know more. I want to see more going on. I want to have spent more time building to this revelation.
How are you catching on?
Because it's obvious right from the moment they find him.
Drive.
And it's made even more obvious. I mean, even before Green meets her father again, we already know he's under the control of the Mysterons. It's been clearly established. There's no real possibility or chance for a mystery to develop. Anyway, Green is now driving her father to the main reactor building. But she managed to crash the Jeep beforehand.
Get out.
Oh, but it threw him off, but it still wasn't enough to stop him from capturing her. Scarlet and Blue are now here. Here comes a great blue line.
Give it up, Lewis.
Let her go, Mysteron scum.
Mysteron scum.
This isn't going anywhere.
Oh no, Scarlet. This is going all the way.
How nice of the reactor building to automatically lock its doors, trapping Green and Lewis inside. I guess maybe it's a Mysteron influence thing, but that's a real long shot. That's not established at all. So, Green and her dad are now locked inside this reactor thingy.
He's triggered the security system.
Never mind.
Somehow.
How do we get in there?
You can't. It's locked down solid. Nothing can get in or out. Not even a radio signal. It's impregnable.
You'd better tell us what you've got in there, Major.
The Space Agency's antimatter reactor project. One day they hoped it was going to take them to the stars. And today it will.
You might be a Mysteron, but I know my dad's inside you somewhere.
Put your hands on there.
Listen to me, Dad. You can beat them. Scarlet survived what the Mysterons did to him. You can. You can stop this.
There was a fire on the Endeavor. Your father abandoned ship. Then suffocated in a faulty cryotube, clawing at it like a man buried alive, scraping at a coffin lid. He's dead, and he isn't coming back.
And that's a horrible image for Serena to have to live with.
Blows in an hour. You and 8 million others are going to join him.
Also clearly establishing that the replicant carries the memories of the original.
If it blows, it's going to leave nothing between California and Texas but a smoking hole.
And there's no way into the building.
Not according to security here. And when Lewis brought down the shutters, the staff inside would have been locked into their sectors. We can't expect any help from in there. Apart from maybe Lieutenant Green.
She's my executive officer, not a combat soldier.
Yeah, but she's good at combat stuff.
They'll be with you in 35 minutes.
That's something I love about this Lieutenant Green as well, is that she does get out into the field more often than the original. And when she does, she's always really useful.
Killed if we don't destroy it.
Even if she's scared, she still overcomes her fear and steps up and does what needs to be done. I really like her.
Place is impenetrable. What's this? Forget it. This is where they developed the nuclear space drives. There was a reactor on the site before they started the antimatter project. It was safer to seal that duct than dig it up.
Seals can be blown.
It's radioactive. It's too narrow to wear a nuke suit in there. It's suicide.
Very awkward facial animation on that soldier there as well. Lots of
22 minutes.
There's a lot of animation, but it's very unconvincing. He's quite toothy, just in that one shot, oddly. Anyway, Scarlet's gone into the ducting. Oh, lots of electrical somethings in there for him to walk through.
This is crazy. Scarlet's dead by now.
Don't count on it.
Because he's the indestructible Captain Scarlet who never really has to put his indestructibility to the test. Once again, he's okay. He's into the reactor room, heading up to the level where Green and her father are twiddling around with the reactor. And Scarlet's there to untie her. Uh-oh. Lewis has noticed.
A hero, just like your father. But even the indestructible being we made you won't survive being atomized when the reactor explodes. Until then, this is just for fun.
Scarlet!
That's it, now we're each armed with some kind of metal pipe from the reactor. There's some sort of charge in them. They're sparking like lightsabers every time they hit each other. Yes, obviously this was... this would be very soon after the Star Wars prequels came out. So Star Wars would be very much in the public consciousness, even more than it already was. Now Scarlet's giving us a full face close-up of some more spectacular teeth.
Going to blow this place sky high.
Not on my own.
You need to switch off the reactor first. So Lewis has fallen to his death after his fight with Scarlet, but he's still coming back up the ladder, so Green has to deal with him first.
Serena!
And here we go.
Serena!
This is very heavy stuff for a family show, and I use that in very, very faint inverted commas.
Daddy?
Promise me you'll kill this thing inside me.
Oh, there he was. And there he was gone. Green eyes are back. And she knows what she has to do. Carry out her father's last request. To kill him. I mean, what other family or even kid shows would you find that in? Woman having to murder her own father at his begging request. Oh, it's it's so well played by the actors. It's so heartbreaking. Just for that one moment, you get the glimpse of the man that he was. But
dead.
Wonderful stuff.
Approaching target.
Come on, we better take cover.
It's not over yet.
So, the Angels are coming in. Scarlet and Green are coming out. And who's going to get there first?
Come on!
Army guys quite ready to leave Captain Blue.
Target ETA 10 seconds. Arming missiles.
I also like with this show, sometimes Destiny is really concerned about Scarlet, and other times she couldn't give her monkeys. Like here, she must know he's locked inside that building, and she's quite prepared to just blow it to bits.
Abort attack!
Read you loud and clear. Attack aborted.
Yay! So Green has helped Scarlet out.
You're right. Look after Serena.
Oh yeah, Serena who did all the work. Look after her. The woman who dragged me out of there, look after her, she's fine. So that's it for Homecoming, and again a wonderful episode of New Captain Scarlet, especially for the early days. I just wish this show was longer, but this is the one time I think, well no, it's not the one time, there are many episodes of this show that could have benefited from being just a few minutes longer, but this is one of them. I wish we got to see more of Green and her father before the inevitable reveal of him, being a Mysteron. It's spectacular stuff. I just wish a bit longer might have given us an even greater episode.